So hey, we got the old GMC back out. All right, so we had a lot going on with the 059. I think we made some pretty good headway. We got the paint on it at least. Doing a little bit of buffing, things like that. I thought today we'd switch gears, come on over here, do a little mechanic work. Sometimes it's nice to take a little break from all the painting and the body work and then come over here and just spin some wrenches on this old girl. 1970 GMC. Anybody new to the channel? We got a 1970 GMC long bed over here that we've been working on. Just freshening her up. We recently got the 350 small block back in it. Now we're just kind of tying up loose ends. We got a little sidetracked with the wiring. The harness was kind of a mess. I think I've got everything sorted out as far as wiring goes, and eventually I'll go in and kind of loom all of that up. As we had mentioned before, I just want to make sure everything is right. I want to make sure the battery charges correctly and things like that. So moving on from that for now, I want to get the headers on. We're going to rebuild the carburetor. I got a nice Holley rebuild kit going to go in our double pumper. We got a 750 double pumper going on there, and she needs freshened up. She's a little dusty. Never mind that. That's all going to wash off, and she'll look just fine later. But for now, we just want to get all the parts on it. So I thought we'd start with the carburetor rebuild. I got a kit here. This is a 750 Holley double pumper, which I think is too big for the truck personally. I think it'd be better suited for like maybe a 600, 650 max. But this is what we got to work with. So the problem we were having with it before is it was loading up the spark plugs, kind of flooding them out, things like that. We're gonna see if we can't help that a little bit with this kit. I got this from Advanced Auto Parts. It's only about 60, 70 bucks, something like that. Not a whole lot. So we're just gonna get this cleaned up, get that thrown in. I'm not gonna bore you guys with a big long video about that. You guys are ready to hear this thing run, and so am I. So we're gonna get this cleaned up, tidy up all of our loose ends, and see if we can't get this truck to fire up. Figure we start by kind of cleaning up the outside of this thing a little bit. Before we start taking it all apart, right? Oh, look at that, boy. She's nasty. Something like that. Maybe get in there with a brush, something like this. Just want to get some of the dirt off before I start taking it all apart. Alright, so I've never done this before, so it would be a complete waste of time for me to try to do some sort of how-to video. You'll probably learn more about what not to do, but whatever. If you guys want to follow along, watch me suffer, that's fine. Let's see what we come up with at the end of this deal. Hopefully a clean working carburetor. I've seen this done before on other TV shows and YouTube channels. It didn't look to be super difficult, so hopefully we'll get through this. Let's find out. All right, here we go. The first part's coming off. Just want to be careful with everything. There we go. All right, that's got the floats and everything in it. You see there? That's the float. We'll be checking into that, making sure that it doesn't have any holes in it, stuff like that. So yeah, I'm not a carburetor guy, but I do know some basic stuff. Hopefully it'll be enough to get me through this. Let's see about getting this block off the end of here. There we go. Now this kit comes with all new stuff, all new gaskets and everything, so we should be able to replace all of this stuff. I want to be able to replace this as well. This is I believe, what do they call this? Some kind of a metering something or other. I thought of it came with different sizes too. Maybe we can downgrade it a little bit and help with our flooding issue, make it not run so rich, whatever. We'll try that out. Let's set that aside. All right, same thing on this side too. Already got the bolts out. Get this off of the end of here. There we go. And again, same thing on the other side. There's our float. So my boy's over here on the other side, kind of setting everything up exactly the way it came off.
Oh yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
So far anyways.
You guys know him as Low Love Life. Go check his channel out. Working on a Copart BMW, what, $200 Copart BMW and a old Chevy Love.
Yes,
cool
sir.
Stuff.
Cool stuff. About to bring back the Chevy Love here soon.
Sweet. Can't wait for that.
Right.
See if we can pop this side off. There we go. Those things are on there.
It was too.
Here's another one. All right, after pulling all these screws out, what are the 8 screws? We should be able to pull the base of this off. Yeah, there it goes, already coming off. There we go. That was easy. Set that one over there.
Yeah, and watch which way this one came off.
That's okay. It'll only go one way.
Yeah. Man.
All right, so here's our kit. It's got all the little gaskets we need. Cool thing is it's got these, and from what I understand, they're different sizes. So we'll figure out what size we need. Maybe we can't downsize this just a hair. I'm not really sure how all that works. We're gonna find out. Learning experience going on here. We'll find out together. But yeah, this stuff goes inside of here. You can see there's the old one there, and then here's the new one. So we'll do stuff like that. Where'd I get that from? Right there?
Yeah.
All right. And of course, here's the carburetor, all kind of an exploded view going on there. So before we can put any of this stuff in, we got to clean this up some more. So let's do that now. All right, so I took my little C-clip off here. We're getting deep now, guys. Be careful, some spring don't shoot out of there. But there it is. There's one float. I'm not sure if that's been repaired or if that came like that. That almost looks like somebody soldered a hole shut, doesn't it? I don't know. That might be factory, but anyway, there's one float. Now that that's out of there, we got to get this little guy off of here, and then that's where our needle and seat is located. Let's get this guy out of here. There we go. Well, almost had it. There we go. There's our needle. And our seat is inside of here. And somehow I got to get this little plastic box off. I think, there it goes. I think it just slides right out of there. So far, so good. Pretty easy. Now, this is going to unscrew out of here. And then here's our new one. I'm going to put this hole in. There's the needle in the seat. We're going to put the whole new one in here. All right, so that's how that works. The needle just goes right into the seat just like that. And of course we are replacing that now. Get in here, spray some of this out before we go putting new parts in it. So don't forget this guy, kind of important. Make sure that's on there. Get the needle back in there, like so. There we go. Okay, so now it is float time. Make sure it gets on that little post sticking out there. Slide the spring down in there with it. And there's another part that you got to get in there as well. The little spring that's on the bottom, this piece here. That float's got to kind of slide down in there and catch that spring. I think we got it. Yeah, something like that. So here's going to be the most funnest and frustrating part of the whole thing, is trying to get this little freaking guy back in there. Where did it even go, y'all?
I think it went inside of it.
That's what I was thinking, but where?
I heard it.
There it is. No, it ain't. That ain't even it. It's not in there, y'all. All right, so after looking for 5 minutes, I found it. It literally landed right inside the screw hole. Can y'all see it? It's right there in the screw hole. This guy. All right, so let's get in here, clean up all these holes. All right, so here's the other end of the carburetor. This side's a little different. The other side didn't have this. I'm I'm gonna take this one out and put a smaller one in it. See if that kind of helps us out a little bit. I believe this is kind of what regulates how much fuel gets in this thing. I believe, like I said, I'm not 100% sure. I've got a brand new one here. This one is a 6.5. It has a number 25017 on it. And this one came with several different ones. This one being an 8.5. This one is an 8.5 as well. So anyway, this one being the smaller one, I'm gonna go with that and see what that does. See if that'll help us a little bit. We didn't get one of these either. I'm not sure what this is, but we're stuck with this one. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean it out. All right, so everything is cleaned. All the parts that we're going to replace that came in the kit have been replaced. I think I'm ready to start putting her back together at this point. So wish me luck, man. Hopefully this thing will work. All right, well, there you go. Hopefully that works. We'll see. We got all of our new parts in. She's all cleaned up, ready to go. All we could do is put it on the truck and see how she does. I'm sure she'll need some adjustments and things like that, but at least it's clean and got new parts in it. That's the main thing. Well, unfortunately, I've run out of time this evening to work on the truck. I've only get to work on it on my spare time. That's kind of how all these projects go. Most of you guys could relate, I'm sure. I got to run up to the city, run a few errands, take care of some business, and it's no big deal. I got to get oil anyway. Somehow I forgot the most important part. So we definitely ain't gonna be firing her up with no oil. So I'm gonna get that done. We'll get back here, get started back up on it probably in the morning. And we're this close to firing this thing up, but I can't wait to hear it run. It's gonna sound so good. Whoa, storm just rolled in. Whoa, my God, that is hail. Oh crap. Ooh, this is bad, y'all. Look at this. Wow, dude, there's nothing on the news about this at all. They're not talking about this. Wow, this is wild. Pretty wild, wasn't it? Good Lord. That whole street over there flooded out. And now comes the chaos. So, this is Oklahoma for you right here. I don't know if you guys can tell, but look at these windshields. There went the lights. As soon as I turned the camera on. Look at these windshields, y'all. This is within just a few minutes. This storm came in from nowhere. All these windshields, look at this. Well, we managed to make it back alive. Good Lord. I just wanted to go to town, get a few parts and some ice cream, and I damn near paid for it, didn't I? All right, so The story on the starter was the one that I had gotten had the offset holes. Instead of 2 holes straight across, they were like this, okay? Apparently what that is for a bigger flywheel, one with more teeth. So what was happening was there was a big gap here between the starter gear and the flywheel, and it just wasn't engaging. It was just spinning freely, right? Makes sense. So we got her exchanged, got the right one, got an oil filter, and I got these cool little studs here to mount our carburetor. So man, we're almost there, y'all. I actually enjoy working on this old truck because it reminds me of when I was a kid. This is what I would be doing on the weekends, working on my old pickup. Get in there, there we go. Typically I do these the same way most of you guys probably do it. Just get it in there, get a couple of bolts started, one on each end. Once it's positioned where it needs to be and you got those 2 started, now you could come in here and you could put your gaskets in. A lot of these gaskets will have the little cutouts so that you can just slide them right down in there with the bolts already in it. Mine don't have that. So mine are like this. All I'm gonna do is just pull that bolt out, get one started in between there, sit it down in there, start the back one, and then away I go. Yeah, this isn't too bad. It's pretty easy. It's a nice day out too. What is it, like 72 degrees, slight breeze. I'm out here putting some headers on. Nice. I'll take it. All right, now we'll get the back one in. Alright, so we got the driver's side header on. In case any of you guys were wondering, which I'm sure none of you were, but I'm going to tell you anyway, because I need to make the video longer. I did take the dipstick tube out. It does make it a lot easier to get that header down in there without that in the way. And on the other side, the starter's off, which will also make it a lot easier to get on. So yeah, on this side we did take the starter off. Man, it is going to be nice to have this thing in and working properly finally. See about getting this guy on there first. Get that out of the way. There we go. Alright, let's get this on there. Obviously you're going to want all of these pointing outwards, or otherwise it's not going to slip down on there. And it's got a little notch for anybody that don't know. A little notch there, or actually a tab there, and then a notch over here on the distributor. And once you get all that lined up, you are good to go. You'll actually feel it kind of right there, just like that. And then we'll push down on the little screws and lock it into place. Yeah, once you get it where it's supposed to go, you just push down on these. Hopefully y'all can see where that just spins around and locks underneath. And it's got 4 of them. You'll have to go all the way around and get all 4 of them. Well, looky there. We got the spark plug wires and everything on. I went ahead and just got that knocked out. I think I've got everything routed pretty well where it's going to go. These are backwards, obviously. This has got to get flipped around. You can see it says Holly upside down. These aren't on yet. I'm going to save that for last. Alrighty, I think it's high time we get that carburetor on here and see if all that hard work paid off. Got all the old gasket material removed. Now I'm going to put some new studs in here. Picked up down at the old AutoZone. All new studs, all new bolts, all that good stuff, right? This is an aluminum manifold that we're screwing these studs into. And there's always the risk of kind of galling up the threads, having the aluminum stick to the stud itself and pulling the threads out. And I was always told if you'll put a little bit of automatic transmission fluid on your threads, that it'll keep that aluminum from trying to stick to them, and that trick actually works for drill bits and little reamer bits that you would put on your die grinders and things like that. Like if you're trying to do some porting or polishing on your heads or these ports or anything like that, and the aluminum tries to stick to the bit, you dip it in the automatic transmission fluid, and that'll help keep that from happening. It actually works pretty good. I've never had a problem. Got me one brand new carburetor spacer. Check it out. Now, if I'm to understand this correctly, this middle part comes out of here somehow. There we go. Yeah, like that. Alright, the way this works is you got to line up the letters here. You got an A here and an A here and a B here and a B here. And that drops right down in there like that. So, pretty cool that you can swap them out. A little bit of a tight fit. I had to grab a hammer, a little rubber mallet. Can't get this down on here. Do this kind of evenly. Mess nothing up. Get our other gasket on there, and it's carburetor time. All right, carb is on officially. Let's make us some fuel line here. Don't need much. I think that'd probably be perfect about right there. We'll cut it. Figured it might be a smart move to go ahead and throw ourselves a inline fuel filter on here while we're at it. Not sure why I grabbed the rustiest razor blade I have in the whole shop. I think I might have found this one on the ground. She's in bad shape, but she got the job done. Alright, so fuel filter's in. Here's where the fuel pump hooks up on this one. And I think before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and drain the tank. The fuel in it's a couple years old, so it's not real bad, but I would like to go ahead and start with fresh fuel. I think I'm going to try to drain the tank. Let's give it a shot. There we go, finally. There we go. That funnel was more trouble than it's worth. There's not enough room under here for all that. Alright, you guys tell me if anything flies out of there. So now that we got all that drained out of there, there's only about 1.5 gallons in there, so that wasn't too bad. I'm gonna cut off the bad spot off the end of here. I think we've got just enough slack. We should be able to put this on here. Oh shit, this stuff is so dry. Probably gonna have to replace it, but I'd like to at least put it back together good enough to fire it up at least. I mean, come on. Every time I try to do one thing to this thing, I gotta stop and go to the parts store. It looks like it's probably what I'm gonna have to do here. This stuff is so dry, can't even get it to go on there. That's bad. It acts like it just wants to split. Fun stuff. Good Lord, yeah, that's ridiculous. So this is a new issue that I'm having. This truck has 3 fuel tanks, one that goes up in here behind the back seat, and then 2 tanks, one over here and one over on this side on the outside of the frame rails. This comes with like a ton of fuel lines just running every which direction underneath here, and unfortunately most of them are deteriorated. I mean, you can see inside of there, that's not good. All that's going to do is clog up our, freshly cleaned carburetor, and we don't want that. So, unfortunately, that is a project all by itself to get in there and replace all of those fuel lines. So what we're going to do for now is we're just going to save that part for later. This is what goes to those other tanks. This one obviously comes out of the original tank. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to undo this one and run a new fuel line from here over to the main fuel line that runs up to the engine itself, and just bypass those 2 other tanks for now. We'll get in there later, clean them up, replace all the fuel lines. It's got some a little valve over here that I'm sure needs to be cleaned out, and we'll take care of all of that later, like I said. So for now, here's my new fuel line. All we're going to do is go from here to here, super easy, quick, and then we can move right on with getting this engine to fire up. Alright, let's get this one put back where it goes. This is the one that runs up to the fuel pump, obviously. Get that hooked back up. Get a little gas in it. Well, she's about as buttoned up as she's going to get today. Let's see if we can get her to fire. That'd be kind of nice, right? Let's throw a little fuel down in the bowls here. See where that gets us. Damn! I wasn't expecting it to fire up that fast. That's freaking awesome. We still ain't got no fuel in the bowl in the filter though. Let's try it one more time. Before we go too far, let's check it for leaks. I don't see anything coming out anywhere. I do have a valve cover leak back here, but that's because these are the old crappy gaskets. Once everything's all dialed in, I'm gonna go through my valves again after it runs for a few minutes, and then I'll put my new gaskets on. But other than that, I don't see anything coming out anywhere it ain't supposed to. All right. Sweet deal. I'm gonna pull these valve covers back off and let's check all my valves. See if we got any tickers or anything. I didn't hear anything. But I don't hear so well, so that doesn't mean anything. Shoot, I'm just excited to hear it fire. It's been a minute. Not feeling any loosey-goosies. That's good. And we got oil running, how you can see it, so we're good on the pressure. And the gauge was reading damn good pressure, so I wasn't too worried about that anyway. Get this one off, check this side. I've gone through these a few times already when it was on the stand. I like to go through them again. I don't feel anything loosened up or anything, so that's always a good. Now obviously we've got a little more buttoning up to do. Hell, I don't have the throttle hooked up. No cooling system, as you can see. A little something missing there. You know, of course, the front of the motor with the pulleys and the fan belts, radiator hoses, cooler lines for the transmission, all those little odds and ends stuff. But she's running, dude. That is awesome. I'm a little concerned about this. We have no fuel up to the carburetor just yet. It seems like it should be up there by now, but we're running again a little bit more, see if it starts pumping up there. If not, then that fuel pump will have to go. We'll start over with another one or something, see where that gets us. But she's firing, she's running, and she sounded pretty healthy. Alright, so obviously we can't run it for very long without a cooling system, so be sure to join me on the next video. I'll get this thing the rest of the way buttoned up, and we'll actually get it out on the road, take it for a drive. That'll be friggin' awesome to actually see this thing driving down the road for a change. So that's the plan, Stan. We'll get the throttle hooked up, we'll get the cooling system in place, the cooler lines like I'd mentioned earlier, and some exhaust. We're going to make some homemade exhaust for this thing, so you'll want to tune in for that. I've got tons of exhaust pipe, you guys, and it's all like brand spanking new. So this is what, you know, over a decade in the body shop will get you. I'm pretty sure out of all that we can weld something together, especially since we're going to keep it short anyway. We're not going to weld anything super long on there. We're not going over the axles or anything. We'll probably go just past the cab or maybe just to the axle and dump them out right there with some kind of a muffler. What do you guys think? We've got plenty of old mufflers sitting around here, Flowmasters, some Thrush. Hell, you know, we might even be able to dig a cherry bomb out of here somewhere. But you guys leave me a comment, tell me what you guys think. What's your favorite exhaust? I grew up with Flowmasters myself, but I kind of like those Borlas, but I don't know, man, that's kind of pricey for this whole project. We're doing this on a budget, remember? So chances are we'll just use what we've already got, and I think it'll be good enough. I think she'll sound like she's got a lot of attitude. She sounds mean enough already, right? But hey, we're out of here for now. Please like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Hit me up on Instagram, link in the description, and hit me up on Facebook. Send me a friend request. I will accept your friend request for sure. And hey, you guys, if you haven't seen my kids' channels, you gotta go check them out. You're missing out if you haven't seen them. We have 3 additional channels that come out of the same shop, and they're all cars. It's all car stuff, trucks, really. And you don't want to miss them, man. Go check them out. Links in the description for all of those channels. And there's our bird, hanging outside the window as usual. He stopped attacking the window, luckily, but he's still hanging out, man. He gets sneak peeks. You know, insider information going on with that guy. I'm starting to think he's a spy.